7. Structural organization in animals. In the preceding chapters, you came across a large variety of organisms, both unicellular and multicellular of the animal kingdom. In unicellular organism, all functions like digestion, respiration and reproduction are performed by a single cell. In the complex body of multicellular animals, the same basic functions are carried out by different groups of cells in a well-organized manner. The body of a simple organism like Hydra is made of different types of cells, and the number of cells in each type can be in thousands. The human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. How do these cells in the body work together? In multicellular animals, a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances perform a specific function. Such an organization is called tissue. You may be surprised to know that all complex animals consist of only 4 basic types of tissues. These tissues are organized in a specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lung, heart, and kidney. When 2 or more organs perform a common function by their physical and or chemical interaction, they together form organ system. Example, digestive system, respiratory system, etc. Cells, tissues, organs and organ system split up the work in a way that exhibits division of labor and contribute to the survival of the body as wholes. 7.1 Animal tissues. The structure of the cell vary according to their function. Therefore, the tissues are different and are broadly classified into 4 types. Epithelial, connective, muscular, neural. 7.1.1 Epithelial tissue. We commonly refer to an epithelial tissue as epithelium. This tissue has free surface which faces either a body fluid or the outside environment and thus provides a covering or a lining for some part of the body. The cells are compactly packed with little intracellular matrix. There are 2 types of epithelial tissues, namely simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is composed of a single layer of cells and functions as a lining for body cavities, ducts and tubes. The compound epithelium consists of 2 or more cell layers and has protective functions as it does in our skin. On the basis of a structural modification of the cell, simple epithelium is further divided into 3 types. These are squamous, cuboidal, columnar. The squamous epithelium is made of single thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. They are found in the walls of blood vessels and air sacs of lungs and are involved in functions like forming a diffusion boundary. The cuboidal epithelium is composed of a single layer of tube-like cells. This is commonly found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephrons and kidneys, and its main function are secretion and absorption. The epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT, of nephron in the kidney has microvilli. The columnar epithelium is composed of a single layer of tall and slender cells. Their nuclei are located at the base. Free surface may have microvilli. They are found in the lining of stomach and intestine and help in secretion and absorption. If the columnar or cuboidal cells bear cilia on their free surface, they are called ciliated epithelium. Their function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. They are mainly present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tubes. Some of the columnar or cuboidal cells get specialized for secretion and are called glandular epithelium. They are mainly of 2 types. Unicellular, consisting of isolated glandular cells, that is goblet cells of the alimentary canal, and multicellular, consisting of cluster of cells, that is salivary gland. On the basis of the mode of pouring of their secretions, glands are divided into 2 categories, namely exocrine and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes, and other cell products. These products are released through ducts or tubes. In contrast, endocrine glands do not have ducts. Their products called hormones are secreted directly into the fluid bathing the gland. Compound epithelium is made of more than 1 layer, that is multi-layered, of cells and thus has a limited role in secretion and absorption. Their main function is to provide protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. They cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands and of pancreatic ducts. All cells in epithelium are held together with little intercellular material. In nearly all animal tissues, specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between its individual cells. 3 types of cell junctions are found in the epithelium and other tissues. These are called as tight, adhering and gap junctions. Tight junctions help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue. Adhering junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Gap junction facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules and sometimes big molecules. 7.1.2 Connective tissue. Connective tissues are most abundant and widely distributed in the body of complex animals. They are named connective tissues because of their special function of linking and supporting other tissues, organs of the body. They range from soft connective tissues to specialized type, which include cartilage, bone, adipose and blood. In all connective tissues except blood, the cells secrete fibers of a structural protein called collagen or elastin. The fibers provide strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissue. These cells also secrete modified polysaccharides which accumulate between cells and fibers and act as matrix, that is ground substance. Connective tissues are classified into 3 types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. Loose connective tissue has cells and fibers loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground substance, for example areolar tissue, present beneath the skin. Often it serves as support framework for epithelium. It contains contains fibroblasts, that is cells that produce and secrete fibers, macrophages and mast cells. Adipose tissues is another type of loose connective tissue located mainly beneath the skin. The cells of this tissue are specialized to store fats. The excess of nutrients which are not used immediately are converted into fats and are stored in this tissue. Fibers and fibroblasts are compactly packed in the dense connective tissues. Orientation of fibers show a regular or irregular pattern and are called dense regular and dense irregular tissues. In the dense regular connective tissue, the collagen fibers are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. Tendons which attach skeletal muscles to bones and ligaments which attach one bone to another are examples of this tissue. Dense irregular connective tissue has fibroblasts and many fibers, mostly collagen, that are oriented differently. The tissue is present in the skin, cartilage, bones and bloods are various types of specialized connective tissue. The intercellular material of cartilage is solid and pliable and resist compression. Cells of this tissue, that is chondrocytes, and enclosed in small cavities within the matrix secreted by them. Most of the cartilages in vertebrate embryos are replaced by bones in adults. Cartilage is present in the tip of nose, outer ear joints, between adjacent bones of the vertebral column, limbs and hands in adults. Bones have a hard and non-pliable ground substance rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers which give bone its strength. It is the main tissue that provides a structural frame to the body. Bones support and protect softer tissues and organs. The bone cells, that is osteocytes, are present in the spaces called lacunae. Limb bones such as the long bones of the legs serve weight-bearing functions. They also interact with the skeletal muscles attached to them to bring about movements. The bone marrow in some bones is the site of production of blood cells. Blood is a fluid connective tissue containing plasma, red blood cells, that is RBC, WBC, the white blood cells and platelets. It is the main circulating fluid that helps in the transport of various substances. You will learn more about blood in chapter 17 and 18. 7.1.3 Muscle tissue. Each muscle is made of many long cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel arrays. These fibers are composed of numerous fine fibrils called myofibrils. Muscle fibers contract, shorten in response to stimulation, then relax and return to their uncontracted state in a coordinated fashion. Their action moves the body to adjust to the changes in the environment and to maintain the position of the various parts of the body. In general, muscles play an active role in all the movements of the body. Muscles are of three types: skeletal, smooth and cardiac. Skeletal muscle tissue is closely attached to skeletal bones. In a typical muscle such as biceps striated, that is striped, skeletal muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. A sheath of tough connective tissue encloses several bundles of muscle fibers. The smooth muscle fibers taper at both ends, that is fusiform, and do not show striations. Cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. The wall of internal organs such as the blood vessels, stomach and intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. Smooth muscles are involuntary as their functioning cannot be directly controlled. We usually are not able to make it contract merely by thinking about it as we can do with the skeletal muscles. Cardiac muscle tissue is a contractile tissue present only in the heart. Cell junctions fuse the plasma membranes of cardiac muscle cells and make them stick together. Communication junctions, that is intercalated discs, at some fusion points allow the cells to contract as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbors are also stimulated to contract. 7.1.4 Neural tissue. Neural tissue exerts the greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing condition. Neurons, the unit of neural system, are excitable cells. The neuroglial cell, which constitute the rest of the neural system, protect and support neurons. Neuroglia make up more than one-half the volume of neural tissue in our body. When a neuron is suitably stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated which swiftly travels along its plasma membrane. Arrival of the disturbance at the neuron's ending or output zone triggers event that may cause stimulation or inhibition of adjacent neurons and other cells. 7.2 Organ and organ system. The basic tissues mentioned above organize to form organs which in turn associate to form organ systems in the multicellular organisms. Such an organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activities of millions of cells constituting an organism. Each organ is, our body is made of one or more type of tissues. For example, our heart consists of all the four types of tissues, that is epithelial, connective, muscular and neural. We also notice after some careful study that the complexity in organ and organ system displays certain discernible trend. This discernible trend is called evolutionary trend. You are being introduced to morphology and anatomy of three organisms at different evolutionary levels to show their organization and functioning. Morphology refers to study of form or externally visible features. In the case of plants or microbes, the term morphology precisely means only this. In case of animals, this refers to the external appearance of the organs or parts of the body. The word anatomy conventionally is used for the study of morphology of internal organs in the animals. You will learn the morphology and anatomy of earthworm, cockroach and frog representing invertebrates and vertebrates. 7.3 Earthworm. Earthworm is a reddish-brown terrestrial invertebrate that inhabits the upper layer of the moist soil. During daytime, they live in burrows made by boring and swallowing the soil. In the gardens, they can be traced by the fecal deposits known as worm castings. The common Indian earthworms are Ferretima and Lumbricus. 7.3.1 Morphology. Earthworms have long cylindrical body. The body is divided into more than 100 short segments which are similar metamers about 100 to 120 in number. The dorsal surface of the body is marked by a dark median mid-dorsal line, that is dorsal blood vessel, along the longitudinal axis of the body. The ventral surface is distinguished by the presence of genital openings, that is pores, anterior and consist of the mouth and the prostomium, a lobe which serves as a covering for the mouth and as a wedge to force open cracks in the soil into which the earthworm may crawl. The prostomium is sensory in function. The first body segment is called the peristomium, that is buccal segment, which contains the mouth. In a mature worm, segments are covered by a prominent dark band of glandular tissue called clitellum. Thus, the body is divisible into three prominent regions: preclitellar, clitellar and postclitellar segments. 4 pairs of spermatical apertures are situated on the ventrolateral sides of the intersegmental grooves, that is 5th to 9th segments. A single female genital pore is present in the mid-ventral line of 14th segment. A pair of male genital pores are present on the ventrolateral sides of the 18th segment. Numerous minute pores called nephridiophores open on the surface of the body. In each body segment except the first, last and clitellum, there are rows of S-shaped CT embedded in the epidermal pits in the middle of each segment. CT can be extended or retracted. The principal role is in locomotion. 7.3.2 Anatomy. The body wall of the earthworm is covered externally by a thin non-cellular cuticle below, which is the epidermis, 2 muscle layers, that is circular and longitudinal, and an innermost coelomic epithelium. The epidermis is made up of single layer of columnar epithelial cells, which contain secretory glands. The alimentary canal is a straight tube and runs between first to last segment of the body. A terminal mouth opens into the buccal cavity, that is first to 3 segment, which leads into muscular pharynx. A small narrow tube oesophagus, that is from 5th to 7th segments, continues into a muscular gizzard, that is 8 to 9 segments. It helps in grinding the soil particles and decaying leaves, etc. The stomach extends from 9 to 14 segments. The food of the earthworm is decaying leaves and organic matter mixed with soil. Calciferous gland present in the stomach neutralize the humic acid present in humus. Intestine starts from the 15th segment onwards and continues till the last segment. A pair of short and conical intestinal ceci project from the intestine on the 26th segment. The characteristic feature of the intestine after 26th segment, except the last 23rd to 25th segment, is the presence of internal median fold of dorsal wall called typhlosole. This increases the effective area of absorption in the intestine. The alimentary canal opens to the exterior by a small rounded aperture called anus. The ingested organic rich soil passes through the digestive tract where digestive enzymes break down complex food into smaller absorbable units. These simpler molecules are absorbed through intestinal membranes and are utilized. Pheretima exhibits a closed type of blood vascular system consisting of blood vessels, capillaries and heart. Due to closed circulatory system, blood is confined to the heart and blood vessels. Contractions keep blood circulating in one direction. The smaller blood vessels supply the gut, nerve cord and the body wall. Blood glands are present on the 4th, 5th and 6th segments. They produce blood cells and hemoglobin, which is dissolved in blood plasma. Blood cells are phagocytic in nature. Earthworms lack specialized breathing devices. Respiratory exchange occurs through moist body surface into their bloodstream. The excretory organs occur as segmentally arranged coil tubules called nephridia. They are of 3 types: septal nephridia, present on both the sides of intersegmental septa of segment 15 to the last that open into intestine. Number 2, integumentary nephridia, attached to lining of the body wall of segment 3rd to the last that open on the body surface, and 3rd, pharyngeal nephridia, present as 3 paired tufts in the 4th, 5th and 6th segments. These different types of nephridia are basically similar in structure. Nephridia regulate the volume and composition of the body fluids. A nephridium starts out as funnel that collects excess fluid from coelomic chamber. The funnel connects with a tubular part of the nephridium which delivers the waste through a pore to the surface in the body wall into the digestive tube. Nervous system is basically represented by ganglia arranged segment-wise on the ventral paired nerve cord. The nerve cord in the anterior region, 3rd and 4th segment, bifurcates laterally encircling the pharynx and joins the cerebral ganglia dorsally to form a nerve ring. The cerebral ganglia along with other nerves in the ring integrate sensory input as well as command muscular responses of the body. Sensory system does not have eyes but possesses light and touch sensitive organ, receptor cells, to distinguish the light intensities and to feel the vibration in the ground. Worms have specialized chemoreceptor taste receptors which react to chemical stimuli. These sense organs are located on the anterior part of the worm. Earthworm is hermaphrodite, that is bisexual. That is, testis and ovary are present in the same individual. There are 2 pairs of testes present in the 10th and 11th segments. Their vasa differentia run up to the 18th segment where they join the prostatic duct. 2 pairs of accessory glands are present, 1 pair each in the 17th and 19th segments. The common prostate and spermatic duct, that is vasa differentia, opens to the exterior by a pair of male genital pores on the ventrolateral side of the 18th segment. 4 pairs of spermaticae are located in 6th to 9th segments, 1 pair in each segment. They receive and store spermatozoa during copulation. 1 pair of ovaries is attached at the intersegmental septum of the 12th and 13th segment. Ovarian funnels are present beneath the ovaries which continue into oviduct, join together and open on the ventral side as single median female genital pore on 14th segment. A mutual exchange of sperm occurs between 2 worms during mating. One worm has to find another worm and they made opposite gonadal openings exchanging packets of sperms called spermatophores. Mature sperm and egg cells and nutritive fluid are deposited in cocoons produced by the gland cells of clitellum. Fertilization and development occur within the cocoons which are deposited in soil. The ova or eggs are fertilized by the sperm cells within the cocoon which then slips off the worm and is deposited in or on the soil. The cocoon holds the worm embryos. After about 3 weeks, each cocoon produced 2 to 20 baby worms with an average of 4. Development of earthworm is direct, that is, there is no larva formed. Earthworms are known as friends of farmers because they make burrows in the soil and make it porous, which helps in respiration and penetration of the developing plant roots. The process of increasing fertility of soil by the earthworm is called vermicomposting. They are also used as bait in game fishing.